It Comes at Night is from A24 Studios, and it's written and directed by Trey Edward Schultz. Now, I've been really looking forward to this movie for a while now because I really dig a lot of the stuff that A24 Studios comes out with. These A24 films always seem to make it into my top 10 films of the year, and this is because I always find myself impressed by its refreshing creativity and its risky artistic choices. And It Comes at Night truly reflects that description because I had a blast with this movie. It gave me what I was hoping for, and it really impressed me. But I wouldn't really characterize this film as a horror film. I would say that horror is a small subgenre of the film, but really this film is more of a thriller suspense drama. If you are familiar with A24 Studios and you loved all their stuff, then you're probably gonna really like this movie. But if you're just a person who just saw this film being advertised somewhere as a horror film and you just thought you would like to go see a horror film, you're probably really not gonna like this movie at all. Because this is a significantly slow-paced film, and it also leaves a lot of ambiguities by the end of the film. This film truly represents the definition of a slow burn thriller, and I was absolutely absorbed by every second of this movie. Just the way everything was executed and captured felt real and suspenseful, most especially the camera work. The camera moves very slow throughout the film as it goes through hallways and in and out doors, or it will just slowly pan between characters. It's a very slow-moving camera, and it's used to keep a consistent state of suspense. And it's a very effective use of the camera because it keeps you on your toes the entire movie. You're never really quite sure what's going to happen next, and it's up to you as an audience member to just kind of sit back and let the film slowly take you through its journey. The performances given by these actors in this film were really top-notch. Joel Edgerton is an obvious standout here. He did a phenomenal job at portraying this fatherly figure that has to protect him and his family. But really, all of the performances in this movie were really good. I don't really have any complaints about the acting at all. When it comes down to it, this film really isn't about the cause of the apocalyptic outbreak. It's more about the results of the apocalyptic outbreak and what happens to humanity and what they have to do in times of desperation and survival. If you go into this movie expecting a creature feature or something of the supernatural, and you're expecting a lot of answers about what actually comes at night, I'm telling you, you're gonna have a bad time.
You're gonna have a bad time.
Because like I said, this film really makes you wait. It really expects you to be patient, and you should be patient. Especially when that second act of the movie hits, because the second act is probably the slowest act of the movie, but it's also kind of the most important part of the movie because that's the portion where they really explore the character dynamics and they explore themes of trust and what you should do when you find yourself in a state of desperation and survival. It really puts you in a situation to where you have to decide if you should think with your heart or think with your brain. Because if you pick the wrong form of action, it'll cost you and your family's life. One aspect of this film that I know tons of people are going to be upset with is the amount of ambiguities that are in it. But just remember that the things that you probably want answers to are not the focal point of the movie. And when you're watching the movie, you can tell because it doesn't spend a lot of time really focusing on that aspect. Again, they spend more time focusing on the fact that there's a family here, they're going through this apocalyptic crisis, and we're supposed to examine the kind of moral dilemmas that this family might have to go through. The film essentially wants you to have the same amount of knowledge as the main characters do, and I found that to be really effective, at least for me, because it's scarier not knowing than knowing, in my opinion. The third act of this film was incredibly intense and gripping, and I thought the suspenseful payoff was great and satisfying, because it's such a grand display of all the moral dilemmas clashing into each other, and it creates such an intense, nail-biting sequence. So overall, obviously, I really dug this movie. I absolutely loved the slow-moving camera work. It really kept me in a constant state of suspense. All the performances in this movie were top-notch. The writing was great. It really dives deep on the theme of human empathy versus human survival. A lot of people might hate this movie because of the unanswered questions, but I found this film to be extremely suspenseful and gripping. It was everything that I hoped it would be, and I'm gonna give it an A. The only reason I didn't give it that A+ is because I wish it was longer. It was a little bit too short. But yeah, like I said, I think most people are probably gonna shit on this movie. In fact, they're already shitting on this movie. I mean, look at these Facebook comments here. Tense and full of dread? Yeah, okay. I dreaded that I spent money on it, and the only tense part was when I dropped a curly fry. Like the nice long ringlet one, too. Save your money. It's a very poorly made cabin fever. I accentuate poorly. How the fuck can you compare this movie to Cabin Fever? Just because there's people that get sick and it's contagious? That's like the only similar thing. Masterpiece of horror filmmaking? No, this movie was a masterful piece of endless shit. Like, did we miss something? I don't know who's telling them this, but it was such a waste of fucking time, like a goddamn Lifetime movie. Really, dude? You're gonna compare this to a fucking Lifetime movie? 2 comments in a row where you have no idea how to make an accurate comparison. Worst movie I've seen in the last 10 years. It tries to come off as a horror / psychological thriller, but it's just boring and a total disappointment. How the hell could Rotten Tomatoes give it an 87%? Well, I mean, Rotten Tomatoes didn't give it anything. If you knew anything about the Rotten Tomatoes critic system, you would know that it's a collective form of reviews and it judges. You know why the fuck am I talking to you? You're fucking stupid. Alright, this is gonna be the last one, I promise. Do not waste your time. Worst movie ever. Nothing but a bunch of people scared of nothing. No virus, no aliens, no zombies, no nothing. Plot leads nowhere. Movie has no ending, no plot twist, no explanation of any kind. Don't watch. Nothing but a bunch of people scared of nothing. Did you not pay attention to anything that happened in the movie? Like anything? And what do you mean no virus? There was a virus. You just might not know what it is, but you know it's a virus. No aliens, no zombies? I guess I'll give you that, but why the hell were you expecting that from this movie? I mean, I know the marketing was a little off, but damn, you were way off, buddy. That sounds like a personal problem. Well, alright, that's enough of that. I hope anybody who watches this review can actually go into the movie with more of an open mind now, and hopefully you can appreciate the movie. Now, if you still don't like it, with all this put into consideration, that's perfectly fine. No harm, no foul. At least you attempted to hear the other side of the argument, and that's really all I can ask for. Again, thank you so much for checking out this video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up and share it amongst other film lovers. And don't forget to subscribe to the Misfit Pawn channel so you can be updated on more film-related content.